Hello everyone, Harry here with another Legends of Awesomeness commentary, and today it's kind of a special one because it's a fan request. I wouldn't say I have fans, it'd be arrogant of me, but this one was I was asked to do this one not so long ago by a user by the name of Azelf1011. Sorry if I messed that up. Who asked that I look at this. Well, because apparently it's worse than Where the Prawn, and I can't see that really, because as you know, I hate that more than Justin Bieber, and that's quite hard to beat that really. Now, this is an episode that I haven't actually seen. It's one of those, as I've mentioned before, the great binge of 2013, where I kind of watched all the episodes back to back. This is one of the ones that just kind of got lost in the rush, as it were, and I can't remember exactly kind of the plot or what it is specifically that's bad about it. I don't really remember. I don't remember hating it. I don't remember liking it. That's kind of the case for a lot of the episodes. Honestly, they're just kind of in the middle of the road. But for the user that requested it, apparently it's cringe-worthy, it's mean-spirited, and it's just genuinely just unpleasant to watch. And this is also an episode that, as the name would suggest, kind of focuses on Crane. And I've got to be honest, out of the members of the Furious Five, Crane is one of my favourites. Not just because of David Cross, I do love that man, but because I just think as a kind of like the Crane fighting style would suggest, he's kind of like graceful and natural and very effortless. But I don't know, there's something about his design. It's just really nice, and I like the use of his hat and everything. I just think it's just great design. I just think he's an entertaining character, where he gets some pretty funny lines in the excuse me, in the films. Now I'm kind of going into this blind, as you probably tell by the stuttery voice and kind of randomly jumping from one point to the other. But then again, how is that different from any other commentary? But if like the only thing I can remember about this episode is it kind of is about Crane's confidence or something like that. Now, one of the DVD shorts, Secrets of the Furious Five, which is about their origins, Crane's segment of that short was about confidence, and it was about him kind of overcoming his shyness and his like kind of like restrictions he placed on himself to be a great warrior. Honestly, it kind of feels like to me that you don't really need to tell that story again, just as a personal preference. If Crane's already had that small little character arc, then you don't really need to do it again. Some of the other Crane episodes, I think, are better at using that aspect, that shyness aspect of him. Better, like, for example, the episode Mama Told Me Not to Kung Fu, I think, the one where he see his mother and you see that she was overprotective of him. Now, that overprotective of him, that could be the reason why he was so kind of shy and kind of like, I would say, bookish, because he was kind of kept close by her. Now, that's kind of an interesting part of his characterisation, and that's how I think you should be doing episodes about that kind of part of his character, using other like characters of their kind of their past to kind of get that across. I just kind of think that even without watching this, I think this is kind of a pointless story that doesn't really have a place here, purely from a character study kind of really. I'm 5 minutes in, and I can't really see how this is mean-spirited, personally. Oh no, wait, hang on, actually, oh god, yeah, I do remember this, fuck. Okay, this is pretty brutal. Oh god, I actually do remember this. Crane, they all kind of get picked, apart from Crane. Oh god, this is so fucking awkward. Oh, thank you. I keep calling you Azel for some reason. I know it's a Pokemon, but like, you've introduced me to a world of awkwardness I really didn't need. Oh no. Like I've said it before. I'm just going to reiterate it here. If you do want me to do any particular particular episodes, then please, like say, and I'll get to it. As long as I have enough to say about it, then I have absolutely no problem doing it. subjecting myself to this shit. See, I find it weird because like these people, Crane like saves these people all the time, but he seems to get like crapped on by them. Like I think I can see what you mean. Person who commented about it being mean-spirited. I'm just watching it now. I'm just getting this layer of uncomfortableness that is just present in this scene, and I don't know. It seems very hostile, and like I talked to Ethan about it a minute ago, just before I started recording. And like I said, it just doesn't sound like an episode that's really meant for this series. It's really awkward. And of course, these are the medical elements that were obviously present in Kung Fu Panda that they felt they needed to bring up here. These people, seriously, he gives his life. Well, he hasn't given his life, but he risks his life every day for you people, and you just. That's horrible. Of all the characters in this show that they could. Well, of that fighting force they could hate, Poe would probably be the one. Actually, that would have been a nice episode if it was Poe on a wire, not Crane, because it could have like shown how he adapts to kind of how the villagers adapt to him becoming one of their saviours, and especially the Dragon Warrior. Hire me, DreamWorks, Jesus. Is that like the ancient Chinese equivalent of an asthma pump? Okay, maybe not asthma pump, something to clear your nose, I guess. Now, just while we're here, I want to talk about an update that's been made to Kung Fu Panda 3, just because I can get back to this episode in a second. Quite excitingly, there has been some updates about the status of the hypnosis and the actual film itself since I last did a commentary, and it has got me. It's promptly started up the hype train again for that film. If you will, I am about to read in my dramatic reading voice the new hypnosis of the film. Poe continues his now legendary adventures of awesomeness and must face two hugely epic but very different threats. Poe has saved the world countless times, but none of that gas prepared him for his greatest challenge yet, pleasing two fathers. Poe reunites with his biological father, played by Bryan Cranston, and returns to his birthplace, yet soon realises he doesn't fit in. There he meets the overly eager Mei Mei, I assume that's Mei Mei, who has been promised an arranged marriage to Poe. Poe must also battle an evil spirit called the Collector, played by Mads Mikkelsen, who is able to steal the powers of every Kung Fu master he defeats, and his sights are set on Poe. It kind of just clarifies what I thought the story was going to be about anyway. Not so much the Collector stuff, but that's quite interesting to me. But the whole kind of arranged marriage thing and him having to kind of please his dad. It's now been confirmed that Bryan Cranston will be playing Poe's father, which is awesome. I love some Bryan Cranston, and I think he's always been great at the characters he's been given. He's very much a character actor. Mads Mikkelsen as the villain. Couldn't really do much better than that, to be honest. It's going to be interesting to see how different he is to Gary Oldman as Shen, but I like what we've got so far, to be honest. Also, along with this, it was shown recently the official title, the official logo of the film. If you want to check all this information out, by the way, it is on the Kung Fu Panda wiki. I'll probably leave a link in the description. The official logo, it's got a nice green scheme going on here. It looks very natural-esque. I like it. I think it's supposed to kind of represent the green fields of the Panda Village, the Panda Village, and I like that kind of more naturalist. It also kind of reminds me a lot of Magic, and I think that's kind of what they were going for. It's a nice kind of direction to go for, and I'm liking the look of it so far. We also got a official posters, which I'm not going to lie, look pretty boring. It's just action shots of Poe, to be honest. It seems weird that in these kind of months we're getting more and more information, but I'm not complaining. Also, we've now got official confirmation that J.K. Simmons will be in the film. I don't know what character. all I can see from the image that's in front of me right now is he's in the booth and he's playing a character that seems to look like an ox. Maybe he plays someone who is like a sidekick to the Collector, perhaps. That'd be pretty interesting. Now, speaking of the new characters, sorry if I'm going a bit off topic for the episode, but I can get back to it in a second. The Collector's kind of, excuse me, his character's design is very much, he looks like just from the little I can see of it, he looks like a water buffalo, and he seems very much like that episode, the villain from Legend of Awesomeness. Oh, what was his name? It was General, let me just look at this up quick. It was General something. It's pretty much like Apocalypse Now, that Apocalypse Now character. General Sin? Yeah, I'll say General Sin. Zin, there we go. General Zin. He seems very much like that, and obviously they're not going to make a connection to it. If I had Legends of Awesomeness as part of my canon, I'd do anything to not associate it, but it'll be interesting to see how that Collector comes about. It's just from what I can see, obviously. If anyone has any different interpretations, please share them. Now, just from like some comments I've received on some videos, it seems like people aren't very kind of excited for it. And hang on, just let me get these comments up. It's from the user formerly known as VV Fan. You know exactly who you are. You're awesome, by the way, if you keep commenting. And I like having these discussions with you. It's pretty awesome. I don't know what gender you are, so I'll just say you. You don't really seem that kind of interested in the film, and you don't really like the way the hypnosis is going. I will admit, as I've said in the comments, the hypnosis doesn't give me confidence for an original story. But remember, original stories stories can be unoriginal. It's how they tell the story that's important. We could get some really funny dialogue. Again, I would rather an unoriginal story that is well told rather than an original story that's boring. And you seem to not like the design or the voice or the design of May May. Well, I can understand that one more. That doesn't look very interesting personally, and it looks more like a toy. You can tell it's made for like a toy design. I'm going to wait for a trailer before I make some proper judgments, but I like Mads Mikkelsen. I think he has a great, intimidating voice, and I think he could do a villain well. If you want to see him as a villain, then he plays Le Chiffre in Casino Royale. I think that will be interesting, because I love Casino Royale, and I think he's probably one of the best things about it. Oh yeah, I also forgot we got an original character revealed called Bao, who's a young child panda, who I think it will kind of be a character that looks up to Poe or something like that. Also, actually, something I forgot to mention, apparently there's a teaser trailer attached to the beginning of Home for Kung Fu Panda 3. I don't know whether that's absolutely confirmed, but if it is, then I will be seeing... Well, I'll buy a ticket to see Home. I won't actually watch it. It doesn't look that interesting to me. I'll probably just buy a ticket, go watch the teaser trailer, then go and watch something else. I don't know. I don't know what will be out at the time, but that's kind of interesting that they're doing that. I don't know if it's because they have the lack of faith in that film Home, or because they feel that they need to put everything into advertising KFP 3, because, like I've mentioned before, they're not doing so well financially, so I think they just feel like they need to put everything into building up the hype again, which I think is a clever strategy to do, because, remember, it's been a few years since the second film, so they need to kind of remind people that these characters exist. But just to wrap this up before we go back to the episode, I am excited for it, and no matter what, I will be excited for it. Even if the trailer disappoints, I'll still want to see it. But it just from what information I've heard, it hasn't dulled my sense of enthusiasm for it, and I am looking forward to it. Probably more, actually, just because it's going a direction that, like with the art design, apparently, that I didn't think it was going to, and I think that's always best if you're going to keep things fresh. Yeah, the story doesn't seem like it's going to be like that. It's not really... It sounds like it's doing the fish out of water story that the first film did, which I have no problem with. But again, it just depends how they do it. They could do it as like in a boring way, which will kind of ruin it. But you know, let's just wait until we get official trailers and some more plot information before we start making some more judgments. Honestly. Now, going back to the episode, finally, for the one person in the world that actually wanted me to watch this episode, I can see absolutely what you mean with this episode. It seems to have a very kind of it seems to it's very self-loathing, it seems to me. And I don't like that. I'm not watching Kung Fu Panda for something that's kind of mean-spirited and that. I don't watch it for that. I watch it with some cheesy action fun with some subtler character stuff in it. Okay, when I say subtle, I don't mean like Godfather subtle. I mean subtle for DreamWorks. I don't know if this is Feng Huang. No, this isn't Feng Huang's first episode, but this is because I didn't watch the episodes in order. This was the first time I actually saw this character, and I think that's quite an interesting character design for a villain. You know, an owl isn't something you traditionally associate with a villain, apart from if you played Sly Cooper. I think this was something they kind of needed to do if they were going to make this series interesting. Choose kind of locations you wouldn't traditionally think of in China, like a snowy kind of an icy mountain, that kind of stuff. That's kind of interesting. Seriously, what is with every character not liking Crane in this? It's really kind of disheartening. And I think this is kind of brings back. I've probably said this a few times. I think I've said it in every bloody commentary I've done. But this is kind of an argument. This kind of episode is an argument for why I think this series should have been kind of origin stories for the Furious Five that don't have Poe in them. This could have been a continuation of his section in the shore, but it features the other characters. That's what it could have been, and that would have been interesting. Or a shore in itself. Seriously. Hire me, DreamWorks. As a side note, if you looked at that last shot wrong where Crane was frowning into the distance, it looked like that tree was his afro. I really like the voice actress for Feng Kuang. I really think that's an effective performance. I was going to make a joke about Pogo going for the RKO, but I'm above it. I'm better than that joke, and I'm not doing it. Actually, something I am interested in. What kind of plots, just from like people who are watching this, what kind of plots would you have liked to see, or would you like to see, in any future Kung Fu Panda episodes? Because it's just like how it's just out because I want to know how you view these characters. I know fan opinion seems to be that this show doesn't seem to understand what kind of characters it has. Also, just as a side note, how does an owl survive going into higher altitudes, but a panda can't? Please, someone explain that to me. If someone says cartoon logic, I will block you, and then I'll slap you. No, I'm joking. That was bloody lucky. This is a weird kind of climax to this story, because it's not so much a story about Crane getting his confidence back. It's more Crane getting his confidence back and then helping Poe. It's really weird. Jesus, it's like Battle of Britain on this. Feng Huang being the Luftwaffe and Crane being a Spitfire. See, this is quite an exciting kind of use of aerial manoeuvres. You know, like going from the mountain to one of the only other sets on the show, and then going back into the village, and then going back to the mountain again. I kind of like that. That's kind of interesting. He should be dead. I don't know why, but it's kind of a weird thing to say. That reminds me of a lot of a scene in Justice League where one of the Manhunters punches the Martian Manhunter through through a window. That would have been funny if he had not made that noise. I'm going to be honest, person who suggested this, I totally agree with you. I see exactly what you're talking about. This, while not as bad as Where the Prawn objectively, it's an absolute kind of torpedoing of a character that people liked. You know, I like Crane as a character, and it's just an absolute kind of like ruination. That's not a word. I am trademarking that word. Kind of like a ruination of his character, and just kind of like insults. It's kind of insulting, really, like where they seem to think, the people who are making this, that nobody likes the other characters apart. They only like Poe, and I just don't think that's true or fair. I don't advocate fighting animals in any capacity, but if there's no way on earth that in real life a crane could beat up an owl that has steel talons and is that large. It's kind of weird, this episode, in terms of, jeez, how fucking big was that boulder compared to Crane? It's kind of like I said, I like the use of aerial manoeuvres and that aerial fight choreography. That's pretty interesting. Okay, we're kind of getting towards the end of the episode now, so I'll just kind of like wrap up and like kind of give my overall thoughts on it. As an episode, it's nothing special. It has a nice kind of message, I guess, believe in yourself, but it is pretty much the message from any Katy Perry song or any other episode of this series. I do totally agree that it has like kind of an unintentional kind of like hostile, like self-loathing kind of tone to it that's quite uncomfortable, and it seems to like, I don't know, it seems like an episode that hates its own characters, and it's kind of strange, really. So the person who, I'm gonna call you, don't want to call you Azelf because that's not your name, Azelf. I totally agree with what you're saying, and thanks for suggesting this. So at the end of the day, it's not a great episode. It has like a weird layer of uncomfortableness to it, but it's not bad, really. So I've been Harry, and I've been Harry, and if you want to suggest an episode for me to do, and if I have enough to say about it, then I'll definitely do it. I'll keep it in mind. So I'll see you next time when I do another Legends of Awesomeness fucking can't speak today. I'll see you next time when I do another Legends of Awesomeness commentary. See you then.